You're listening to Caldera Coombs Cafe Podcast. This is episode 2 of season 4. I'm your host, Aaron Coombs, and I'm with my co-host, my big brother, my only brother, the one and only, Marc Coombs. How you doing?
Good, how about yourself?
Good. It's been over a month now, and we're just at episode 2, but that's okay. We've been keeping busy.
Yeah, for sure.
I heard you got some movies and music and stuff to talk about.
Okay, yeah. Now, light on the shows. I don't think I got any shows.
I got some shows.
Okay, you'll carry the show segment.
I got some cheat notes. Okay.
Don't tell them about a cheat notes.
Okay. I guess I'll do a quick synopsis. I can't say the word. Synopsis? I'm going to do a little snippet of my travels.
A morsel.
Laura and I will do a whole picture and video of going down south. We're going to talk about how we first went to Los Angeles and we saw Andrew Santos and Bobby Lee. So that's something I knew you'd want to see, but I wasn't allowed to record it, but it was awesome.
Was the material all going to be used for specials and stuff?
I don't know. That's why you can't do the recordings. There was some new stuff. Like I seen that cheeseburger one for Andrew Santos. That was good, but he didn't use any or all that information. And we had some drinks on the deck on a rooftop patio. I think it was like 14 floors up. And we went to Mexico, Puerto Vallarta, Acapulco, Guatemala, Jamaica, Colombia, Miami. But we'll talk about that all later in a different episode with my wife. But we're here with Marc. Peek. That's just a sneak peek.
What's to come?
What's to come? Water.
Is it good?
Quality H2O. Okay, so you want to start off with something movies before shows, probably? What do you want to talk about?
You go to the shows. You're on a roll. You're talking.
Shows.
You're talking away. This is an Aaron heavy front.
I'm the host.
It's
the
all
most.
Good.
All right, so shows. The wife and I were starting to watch season 4 of You, not knowing that it was only a part 1 of part 2 series. I was like, it ended at like episode 5.
Oh, okay.
But it has some like Clue vibes to it. I won't give out too much information. But have you watched any of season 1, 2, 3, 4? No.
I've seen like clips.
Come on, do you like Dexter?
I've seen some of Dexter.
Mother likes Dexter, anyways.
Okay.
And then we've seen Bel Air season 2 is coming out tomorrow, I believe. I've seen season 1. You haven't seen any of that, have you either?
I've seen Fresh Prince of Bel Air. I've seen all that.
Okay, I've watched We Crashed. It's based on a billionaire WeWork organization, Andrew Newman. It's on Apple TV. And it has Jared Leto and Anne Hathaway in it.
Oh, cool.
So he had a funny accent, but then when I watched what the actual Andrew talked like, he actually talked like that. From Israel.
I seen the trailer for that show. It looks half burnt.
I enjoyed it. I think it's only going to be like one season. I think it was just a short series. Anyway.
Okay, limited series.
And like I said, I seen the comedy stand-up show of Cheeseburger with Andrew Santos in it, and you've seen it too.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That was hilarious. He's so funny.
He's great live. Someday I'll take you to Los Angeles.
He'll call to Bishop someday.
Nick Kroll, Little Big Boy. You see that one? I don't know if it's very new, but
I haven't seen that one. I love Nick Kroll too.
Is
he funny?
Oh yeah,
he's so funny.
And another show that me and Laura watched 2 seasons of was Acapulco, and I watched it just before we went to our trip. And I was trying to find that resort because we went to Acapulco. I should have done my research because when I Googled it, it was actually recorded in Puerto Vallarta, where we went to the day before. I was like, we went scuba diving like not very far from it. I was like, no, because they painted it all like 80s colors, pinks and bright colors. So I wanted to know if it was still like that or not. But that was pretty cool. So that's my shows for now. If you want to talk about some shows, or you're all
that was it. I saw that one stand-up special. That was pretty cool. Santino, he's funny, man.
Yeah,
definitely recommend that. I guess we
dive into
movies.
Let's dive right in. Movies. All right. You start on this one, bro.
Okay, well, we'll start off what we talk about together. Like, we finished watching Frank Zappa's 200 Motels.
Yes. What are your thoughts?
I love it. Oh, it was awesome.
I was think it was psychedelic, and it was pretty psychedelic for someone you said who doesn't do drugs. Frank Zappa wasn't really into that kind of thing,
You didn't do
drugs,
drugs, no.
politics, or anything like that. But he's a pretty cool, down to earth guy.
Yeah, it's I really like the music. I would like to get to find the soundtrack for it. It was awesome.
And that was in 1971, so it's
Yeah.
the 52 anniversary of it, I believe. And my favorite movie is from 1971, but we won't talk about Willy Wonka anymore, will we? Nah.
Frank Zappa would have been a good Willy Wonka.
Hey, kids. Shoot. All right. Roasting. Let's see. Other movies. I got some here. If you finish off the ones you've seen or we've seen together.
Okay, the other one we saw together, of course, Ultimate Classic. We did a little poll on social media. I did it anyways. Ask which John Carver movie on John Carver's birthday we should watch. The Thing and They Live, because I love both of them. But you haven't seen either at that point.
It felt so long ago, but it was long ago.
Yeah, it was after. It was the same. We watched it actually the same day that our last podcast came out. Funny enough, so that's how long it's been. And so, what did you think of Kurt Russell and John Carpenter? Just The Thing.
For a guy, I like horror movies, but some are a little abstract or weird, or sometimes they're overly funny. But this one, I found that the realistic and the not CGI but
practical
effects were really good. Actually, I enjoyed Santa Claus being in it.
Wilford Brimley
and
Cocoon.
Diabetes. But I recommend that one too. Do you recommend that?
Oh, I love that movie.
So that's the Coombs Road recommendation.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
So now I guess we'll start with the other stuff I've seen.
Okay.
The new stuff first. Infinity Pool. Finally got to watch that. Brandon Cronenberg's follow-up to Possessor, starring Mia Goth and that dude, the Skarsgård dude. Not the not the dude from not Pennywise, but his brother.
Okay.
You'll look it up now. He was, there he is.
Right.
And it was pretty deadly. And like you said, Brandon Cronenberg directed, who's David Cronenberg's son, and Possessor. Can you remember the Possessor movie? You thought it was. I know you thought it was pretty strange,
Yeah.
and this movie's even more strange and more intense. I loved it. Mia Goth is great. Alex was good. Alex Skarsgård was great. Pennywise's brother.
Okay.
And it was deadly. I was trying to think of what else was
Is
in
it
it.
a thriller? Is it a horror? Is it a pop-up scare, or is it, what would you call it?
It's like a psychological horror.
Oh, okay.
It's the basic synopsis is you learn from the trailer. I can say that much. These rich people on a resort in this country, and this country, if you get in crime, they're very strict. So you get sentenced to death, but you can get a clone of yourself made.
Makes sense.
So these rich people are just getting. It's
It
pretty wild. It's a wild ride. Talking about psychedelic, there's some pretty trippy scenes. Not for the whole family, not for the, but it was good. It was an interesting movie. I liked it. Great follow up, Possessor. And the other new movie I've seen I've seen a few, but this newish Skin and Marink. You heard of that at all?
I haven't, but I heard it was one very quiet, whispery, scary movie, and I heard that from Chris D'Elia's podcast, unsponsored, but. He said it was going to be weird at first, but then he's like, "This is freaky."
Yeah, I liked it. It's experimental, Canadian.
Okay.
It had a limited theatrical run, and it was only it cost like $15,000 to make, and they made. We'll look up the numbers, stats. There's the stats, but it was creepy. It was a bit of a slow burn, but the imagery in the middle towards the end, it definitely makes it worthwhile. I thought it was deadly, but a lot of people, I don't know, I guess can't feel the experimental nature of it. But I thought it was really cool, experimental, independent film by a Canadian.
It's got to be your cup of tea.
Yeah, definitely.
Or a cup of coffee, and we're gonna make a short break for Cardio Coombs Cafe Coffee. Hey there! Enjoy some Cardio Coombs Cafe home roasted coffee today at cardiocombscafe.ca. Remember to stay tuned, stay happy, and stay healthy. Bye for now. And we're we're back.
In
Continue on with movies.
in the middle of the movies.
I can do whatever I want.
Okay. I'll skip that. House of Darkness
House of Darkness.
is directed by Neil LaBute, who directed In Company of Men, and but he also directed the Wicker Man remake, which I've never actually seen, even though we all know about the bees, not the bees, with Nick Cage. You heard of that, right? The Wicker Man remake, right?
No,
I've never seen it though. But anyways, this guy's made good movies like In the Company of Men as well, and I'm trying to think of some other. Oh, was it Chris Rock, Greg Kinnear, Nurse Betty? Can you remember that one? Okay, that was cool. Anyways, I tried.
you watch movies?
But
I'll tell you my 2 cents after my movies.
Okay. Well, this movie was based on Bram Stoker's Dracula, starring Justin Long and Kate Bosworth. But it's a different kind of take on it. I'm not going to say too much. I recommend watching the movie without seeing the trailer, because the more you see it, the more it gives away. But
Justin Long does some creepy movies.
Justin Long does a lot of horror movies, and he's been doing it for a long time. Doing a lot of horror movies.
You said, is it for sure going to be a Tusk 2?
No, I don't know for sure, but that's what.
Wait, we heard there's rumors there could be a Tusk 2.
Do you have an Inside Man? Do you have an Inside Man?
Kevin Smith. It was a weird,
but
good movie.
So this movie, House of Darkness, it's like it's a horror, but it has some good comedic elements, and like I said, give it a watch.
I like comedy horror, like the ice cream one we watched.
Now that Ice Cream Man, now that's just like awesome, old school. Yeah. And it's actually made in 1990, but it's very 80s feel. Yeah. And you get to the movies. A couple old school ones. Oh, hit Joe Bob right quick. Joe Bob. Vicious Vegas, Valentine. He had a couple come on, got married, that they won an auction from the Christmas episode. And the movies were Phantom at the Mall, Eric's Revenge, and Necromantic. Now, Necromantic was pretty messed up and intense, even for me. But
so I definitely wouldn't watch.
No, it's definitely not your cup of tea. But talking about cheesy, the 80s-ness, I think you would like Phantom at the Mall, Eric's Revenge. Because first of all, the title sounds like the sequel, but it's the first one. And some interesting actors. Dasaki's guy is in it. Younger Dasaki's guy, the most interesting man. The world, yeah. And the guy that plays Mac's dad on Always Sunny, he also was the clown that kidnapped the baby in Batman Returns. And
that reminds me, the new Flash is gonna have Batman. Should we not talk?
Well, that's cool. That's fine. You gotta talk about that. That was the big reveal. Was on the Super Bowl commercial.
Yeah. So it's not a spoiler because it was. If you watch sports, we'll talk about sports after this. But
it's on Ninja Web 2. It's known.
So yeah, it's well known. All right.
Okay, a couple. We get back.
Actually, more about Batman. When I went to Los Angeles, there was the Warner Brothers. What's it called? All their theaters and stages, everything.
More sneak peeks in the middle of movies.
I'll talk more about that in another episode with Laura already, because there's going to be pictures of the actual suits that they wore, Batman and Superman and everything. So, and Friends and Big Bang Theory. But we'll talk about that in another episode. Back to you, Mark.
Okay. And I'll just finish off here now. Just talking about 2 Brian De Palma movies I watched. Now he's the guy that directed Scarface, but earlier on he was kind of like a thriller, kind of dude. Like when he started with, when it was a couple movies into his career, he did Sisters. I watched. That was the first one I watched. That was like 1971.
Starring movies in 71.
Margot Kidder, Lois Lane, the OG Lois Lane, Canadian actress. She plays a French Canadian. Well, okay, I won't spoil what but it's a pretty interesting role. Now, it was the book I'm reading, just to go into books right quick. We do two birds stone at once. Is Cinema Speculation by Quentin Tarantino, and he talks about this movie, and he talks about how it's dated. And after reading it and watching it, I was like, it is kind of dated. Like I did like this. The split screen shots were really cool, but when you get towards the end, it kind of lost me a bit.
You also say Quentin Tarantino had a good review for the Frank Zappa movie as well. I think you said that.
Yeah, I got a couple ideas for movies to watch from that book so far, and I'm almost done it. It's deli. I totally recommend it as well. So far, so good.
I ordered a book from that groupie that was from the Frank Zappa movie. Well, but it talks about all of the bands that she followed and over the years in the 70s.
That's pretty cool.
So not that I read very often. I usually do audiobooks, but and mostly cookbooks.
And last one, the comparison. The other movie I watched was Dress to Kill, and that stars Michael Caine as a therapist.
Okay.
And okay, I can't say too much, but all I know is if this movie, wait, he's a therapist, and you gotta. It's interesting. I don't want to give too much away because, but I don't think you'd be able to make it right now because the killer is a transvestite, and it wasn't overly. I don't think you'd be able to make the movie right now. Well, you could.
Can you say transgender now? I think too, but or is a man dressed as a woman, or is it the killer actually transgender?
No.
No.
Well, I'm not gonna. Okay.
Oh, we won't talk it. We won't ruin the movie.
No, but you gotta check it out because I like this one a bit more than the Sisters movie because the shots he was more developed on his arrangements of the shots and stuff too. I found the kills were cool. Definitely worth checking out. But yeah, it's a bit corny. It is aged a little bit, but I enjoyed it. It was a good flick.
All right.
The last movies. And
I got
at the same time.
Oh,
you got more? Oh,
yes.
Here we go.
This one I think was produced or directed by Judd Apatow, and I couldn't find any of my streaming views, so I rented it. And the wife already watched it on the airplane too. It's called Bros, and it's maybe too intense for some people, but I found it funny and touching. So, Judd Apatow always makes good shows and movies too. But also, there's one.
Billy Eichner.
I watched You People. I got iffy reviews. I'll give it like a 6.5. I don't know.
Okay.
A Cardio Coombs review. But it was based on a guy who did a podcast as well.
So, you should watch it. I should watch it just for, if I'm bored.
You People? Eddie Murphy. Well, you know Eddie Murphy does some good movies, but lately I won't say nothing about bad, but this one was decent. And it had some jokes that were kind of old jokes, like provocative, gets the people going, kind of repetitive of what Will Ferrell would say. But the aspects of it all, the culture and everything, was a good movie. I found funny spots too. Cool. And Jonah Hill is always good. So that's You People and Bros. Okay, You People you can watch on Netflix, and Bros you have to rent because I can't find any other streaming, but non-sponsor. That's movies.
We can hit it. We'll go right to. Do you want to go to music? Let's go with right to music. One of the newest records Dad got for me is Frank Zappa's The Grand Oiseau.
And I don't know if your profile's
open to review. Is it Wazoo?
Like bird? Wazoo?
It might be the Great Wazoo. It's not Wazoo.
Here it is. The big.
It's big.
The bird.
Anyways, the Grand Wazoo. Sorry. That's funny. But it's a deadly album. It's funny, the surprise with 200 Motels how little Frank was in it. Well, he was there. He wrote, obviously did all the orchestra, did all the music. Yeah. But there's not a lot of Frank vocals. This one also doesn't have Frank vocals. The album it has some vocals on the first track, but most of it's instrumental, and it's really deadly. My goal is to get all the Zappas on vinyls eventually.
I got 3 Zappas on vinyls.
It's pretty cool.
I want to also give a shout out to it's not sponsored, but Discogs is what we've been using to categorize. I spent like a couple of hours trying to sort out my records, so I put on the site as well under cardiocombscafe.ca under vinyl collection. You just want to check them out, just what kind of music I'm into right now. And when I was on the ship, we listened to some Frankie Valli and Four Seasons, some old school music too, which is good. But also at Jamaica, I listened to Damon Marley, Bob Marley, of course. But the newest music I've been listening to besides Skrillex was Hardy, I think it was. He's a country rock singer now. And the only reason I listened to that because Christy Lee mentioned on the podcast as a new guy up and coming. And he has some good music. Some of it was like rocky, but it's country too. So it might not be everyone's cup of coffee. Yeah.
I'll check it out. Who would you compare him to?
Ooh. The guy you like with the mullet. Because he actually does a feature with him too. What Welling?
Cool. Morgan, yeah.
Morgan Welling, yeah. Well, it's kind of like that.
Right. And let's hit up the Skrillex. We both rocked it.
Yeah. There's
Two
new
new albums. I've only heard the one. I've only heard what's
I got written down.
Quest for Fire.
Quest for Fire. Here's the two
Cheat
albums
Sheet.
here.
Cheat Street Extraordinaire.
I listened to the first one and I was really upbeat. I liked it. How'd you feel about it?
I liked it. There's a lot of good bops on it.
Even Missy Elliott?
I like the Missy Elliott bop. There's one in towards middle. I can't remember the name of that. I didn't really like, but then the next song was that fire one that you were playing earlier, the whip.
And I listened to the second one, but you never.
I'll check it out.
Then I heard a Justin Bieber one, and I was like, "Oh, I know this one." And yeah, so that was good music. And I think you want to mention another one, Screaming Females.
Yeah, this is our Pathway album.
So that's a newer one there.
I got Aaron to listen to most of it, listen to the rest of it today.
And my views, I don't know if you agree with it or not. I said she gives me like Joan Jett vibes, but the music gives me like old, like 90s early piece guitar. But well, how do you feel about it?
I don't know. I guess that's not too bad of an explanation. But I think and
I love old LP.
Okay, so I thought it was overall. I just thought it was that album. I like her unique voice, and unfortunately I forgot her name, but and she's she's mega guitarist, awesome guitarist, and the album is deadly. It's I've listened to it a few times now since last week. I would totally recommend checking it out.
That's a Cardio Coombs Cafe Bros recommendation.
There we go. It's official.
There you go.
The Skrillex one too.
First one or
Quest for Fire. I'll do my review next time. Yeah. So I guess we can get into the sports.
All right, we'll talk about sports.
You got a bit of stuff in sports.
Rihanna.
So, okay, let's get into it. What do you think of the performance?
Rihanna's always gonna be great, but even being a pregnant woman and all, she still did more than I could do when I'm tired.
That high up. She's pretty high up too.
And yeah, so some people were like, all she did was this, and the dancer just did that, and all she did was lip sync. But most concerts they lip sync, and everyone's like, oh, she didn't do it for money. Nobody does it.
If you're performing
the
halftime show, you're gonna lip sync. Everyone does it.
And if you do raise money, it's usually for charity. So.
If you're performing the halftime show, you're gonna lip sync.
Especially if you're running around the field and going up and down and stuff, and pregnant. Rihanna kicked ass.
It was pretty good. She had a lot of jams. I didn't mind it. Now the game, not a big. I don't watch a lot of football, but I was digging that game. But then they won over that technicality of that light call after such an exciting game. But again, not a big football guy. So what we both like. Let's get into the sport right away that we both follow is basketball.
Can I speak about something?
Go ahead, hit us what you got.
Here's another preview of what's to come. But I'll show you some pictures, I guess, of the game we watched, because there was a layover when I got home from my trip. It was from Miami, and then instead of going right to St. John's, because Newfoundland, where we're from, it's hard to get a direct flight no matter where you're from, or where you go, I mean. So we ended up in Toronto for a day. So I was like, the game was early. I think it was like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. And the flight was around 8-ish. Or no, 7 maybe. No, we had to get there 7 anyway. So we got in time for the game. And it was amazing the first quarter. The second quarter was great. And then it got really too close because we were winning by a lot. Then only by like 5. And then the last couple minutes, we only won by 1 point. That was against Pistons, the Raptors. So it was really, we won. So every game I went to, I told everybody I only went to 2 right now.
Okay,
but
so did Puerto play that? That's Puerto's first game back with the Raptors. They traded him for Birch and a first round draft pick next year.
There was no Trent Jr. There was no. There wasn't even no coach.
Excuse me. No nurse.
And OG.
Gary and OG are back for tomorrow's game. So luckily there's been a little break, so they got a chance to heal up.
So tomorrow is Thursday, correct?
Yeah, and as bad as they're doing, they still have a playoffs, the play out thing where it's like the 10th team. I think a lot of people think they should have got rid of that after the bubble with the not 10-9-8 thing, right? Playing, but yeah. So Raptors are still.
Yeah. And I was,
You didn't see him stop watching. What are you talking about?
what?
You see he stopped?
No, I said I still loves ball.
Oh, okay.
That's what I said.
Yeah, you see he stopped. What? Wait,
No,
last,
no, no.
this week when they stopped.
And in between, I said I never had time to pick up your hat for you, and I didn't. But in between,
Sad.
I try to sneak out and see if I could. But all the good, the old school Raptors hats were sold, and there was a little tiny Raptor stuffy I wanted to get for Kalani, and they had like 6 of them. And by the time I went out there, they're all sold. So I got Kalani. If you're listening to this, Kalani, I got you a little pair of socks and a little toque. It's pretty cute. But we haven't given it to her yet.
It's not fair. She got a
hat.
She got a hat, and I never.
Oh, I had a hat when I came in. Oh,
She does like dinosaurs. I'll give her that.
I got a bunch of hats, but I didn't get anything new there. But I might order some jacket or whatever later on.
So yeah, so that's the wraps. Now, do you get a chance to look at any of the big moves over the last little bit?
The only move that I seen that you showed me lately was from hockey.
Okay, we're talking basketball right now. Basketball first. We got just name some. Just a quick ramble.
Well, Van Vliet was up for a move but didn't make it.
Yeah,
He
that was a
stayed.
big thing.
So he probably been playing a little off, but not really though, because he did great the last couple games. But that would
he has an inconsistent game though. I feel as though he has an inconsistent game.
Yeah.
If Spicy P was the All-Star.
How would you feel if you're on the block? You're like, yeah.
Well, that's part of the reality. Him and OG both were on the block, so we'll see how that goes.
He's like Drake, so I can't see him leaving. But
Spicy P was at the All-Star game. Let's talk about it right quick. How about the dunk competition?
I haven't watched it.
McClung? Oh, you didn't watch any? I even sent that. We'll have to talk about that next time because I didn't watch it. I'm not going to go on about this myself. It's like a 20-second clip of his 3 dunks. You got it first try every time. Okay, anyways, you never seen it, so we talk about enough of the stuff you never see today. Okay, let's talk about more stuff you don't follow. Hockey.
Shea Weber.
Shea Weber's contract is traded to Phoenix.
He's not playing many games, or is he getting? Or is
he's
hurt?
on long-term disability. He's not going to be playing anymore.
How about Price? What's up with him now?
That's another contract they should trade. Long-term disability. I'd be surprised if Price plays again. Now let's talk about things that Ottawa are doing pretty good. They're 6 points. The East is strong. See, they're 6 points behind the second wild card. So they have had a pretty good run lately. They had some goal injuries, so they had a couple newer dudes play. Now Talbot should be back soon, so that's a good thing. Now, unfortunately, Forsberg got injuries in both his knees, so it's not good. It's not good at all, especially for goalie, right? And your team, Montreal, I guess they're
the best, aren't they? Simply the best. No. Yep.
And the big trade, another trade in hockey, but wasn't more than a contract, was O'Reilly went from St. Louis to the Leafs, and it's had a big impact so far. And one more sport to talk about. Unless you want to talk about lacrosse or something.
Another one. No.
Just briefly going to mention contract or the signing for Bo Bichette for 2 years. Because top hitter in the American League. Now, he had the most errors in the American League too, but he had the 191 hits. So he led the American League in hits as well. But the thing, he's not a natural shortstop. I'm not sure they're going to keep him on shortstop. Because I think that's one of the reasons they had so many errors. But he got the flow, and he's Bo. Bo is the man.
Got the flow, Bo. You got the hair.
Okay.
All right. I'll probably do a new segment right now on unsponsored new gadgets. So the first one I'd like to talk about is this new Pixel watch. Wow. Look at that. I like it better than my Fitbit Ionic because, first of all, it had a recall. I had to send it back for overheating. But the only downside to the Pixel watch that I found so far, I only had for over a week, is the bezel. It's like the size of the actual screen and how it cuts off, like around here. But it has sounds like the old Fitbit you couldn't use like for talking or anything like that. This one you can actually hook up to your phone, listen to music, and hear sounds.
It's like Dick Tracy.
Like, that's what Father said. And he's like, I was like, there's a movie too, Dick Tracy. He's like, there's no movie. I was like, yeah, 1990 or something like that.
That knows what the movie.
And he's like,
Pacino,
you know Dick
Warren
Tracy?
Beatty.
I was like, yes, I know Dick Tracy. And
Madonna.
I think there's actually, let's talk about a future episode. at Warner Brothers. I think there was a Dick Tracy
Cool.
suit along with Power of the Babe suit too. They
Labyrinth.
even showed the bulge.
That's amazing.
Okay, but that's another episode.
Okay, you give it too many tidbits. The bulge bits away.
The Pixel Watch, I like to give it a 7.5 out of 10, right, as of now. But there's going to be more updates and new things to do with it. And another thing I might talk about is the tile trackers, like, like Apple Tag, but it's just tile. And I ordered them for the trip, but they didn't come in time. But I got one for my wallet, and one for my phone, and 2 for the keys. So I'll tell you, like, if you left them or find them, press the button to make a noise and stuff. So I find that convenient because I'm always like, where did I put my wallet?
Cool.
I don't know if you got that very often. Like, where's my keys at? You know, when you're a frustrated adult parent and you don't know where you put your things, or where Kalani hid them. Another thing is, do I look younger? How's my skin?
You got a facelift.
I got that Mick Rourke, was it Mick Rourke? Rourke? What's his name?
Mickey Rourke.
Mickey Rourke. I got that Mickey Rourke. No, I got the new it's the good serum. It's the layer and the base.
Are you selling this product?
No, this is a non-sponsor. But it's from Caldera Labs. I'm not saying that right. Caldera Labs. So it's a 3-part process for a facial rejuvenation process. Excuse me.
I might have to try it.
So besides this big thick beard I'm growing in compared to yours,
I gotta save this flat little bit of skin I got.
These cheeks will be so soft, and also for your neck, men get wrinkles here too, you know. So I'd like to stay young forever, like Michael. Okay, and
weird.
Another thing is, all non-sponsored. These are just gadgets I've been getting lately. Is the Lark bottle. It's LARQ. It was also on Shark Tank, and it has the UV light that cleans, self-cleaning bottle. So it'll clean the water, and it'll also clean your bottle when you're not used.
Have you been on the Home Shopping Network lately? Like, what's going on here?
I one time I bought something on the Home Shopper, and besides Joe Bob's Shopping Network, which you should check out too. Did you get a thumbs up, Joe Bob's?
Oh yeah.
Okay, but I got like a H2O floor mop from there, and it's actually pretty good.
I see good gift ideas.
Yeah, so if you're looking for gift ideas or things to
gifts for yourself.
But the Lark bottle is good for when you're traveling because you don't trust the water at all filtrated dispensers. I'm not talking about getting from the lake or getting from a muddy area, but the area where you think there might be something that you want in the bottle. So it does kill 99.9%. Again, non-sponsored.
Let's go back to Bobby Lee was talking about on his podcast with Bad Friends. They're on a road trip with his dad, and he's like, "Dad, I'm thirsty." And he goes to a river, and he's like, "Drink." And he's like, he got sick afterwards.
Hot dog. And I got 3 more things I guess.
Holy shit!
Shenanigans. The Link app is what I'm using also for my website as well. I'll give you quick links, and you can use it with your tap business card. I got one on the back of the phone, and you got one on a mini hub as well. So you use that, you just click that, if you got an NFC, or I think it's called, on your phone, click it, and it shows all the links. So if you want to go to linkapp.com/Aaron Coombs, you can check that out as well. It's non-sponsored, and I'm going to talk about the Discogs app that we've been using lately.
We always talked about that.
Yeah, but I just want to reiterate. It's also on my site, too, if you want to check out my vinyl collection. So it's just kind of music that we're into now, and the written link, Rhett and Link, Good Mythical Morning is another thing I'm into, and Ear Biscuits, the podcast. But lately, Klein's been taking the toys out of the toy box and said, "Who's this? Who's this?" This Rhett and Link, and recently I got one in the mail, that little figurine. I'll show a picture of it there. So she liked that too. She's like, "Open." And last but not least, I want to bring up another technology. It's more so a convenient way to get around town in Grand Falls, Windsor. It's EVT, Exploits Valley Taxi Limited. Here's a quick commercial.
That's okay.
Do you want to go to Frank Zappa's fake hotel room and have some drinks?
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe sometime we can do like a community outreach program where we can get people together with like minds for doing like music or comics and movies together, and just have some Caldera Coombs Cafe coffee for free, non-sponsored, or not non-sponsored, but like a volunteer thing. If we can get that on the go sometime, if you guys would be interested in that, let me know. Make some comments in the section down below about coffee and chat with the Coombs. not record or anything. Just have a time or a day and just talk about music, comics,
Cool.
and movies while enjoying some Caldera Coombs Cafe coffee, home roasted. Okay. That's episode 2
There we go.
season 4. Cheers, Marky.
Cheers.
Until next time, stay tuned, stay happy, and stay healthy. Bye for now.
Later on.
Next time on Caldera Coombs Cafe Podcast. Marc spins the wheel of fun for a chance to win some giveaway prizes. Stay tuned, stay happy, and stay healthy. Bye for now.